Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I am your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew. This side of a giant space aviary, we have Vice Admiral Eric, who does in fact believe that the bird is the word. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Commander Hawk is here. Yeah, hey. Commander Hawk is here, and no, he is not related to Larry Bird. And finally, Captain Giraffe, who has told us repeatedly that this is not my bird. Welcome back. I know I got that reference, maybe. I hope some people that are nerdy enough to get the reference. Welcome back. How we doing?
So we're gonna do like bird jokes. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I mean, we have to joke this one away, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Wayner's here. Wayner's in the chat. Coming to us live from New York City. I actually don't know if he's left yet. I think he might have left. Yes, Haven got it. It was Iron Man 2. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Wayner is either in New York or heading to Comic-Con tomorrow, where I will see him on Saturday. So this week, Peanut Hamper's back.
What? I never thought these words would be utter in that podcast ever.
Utter?
Here we are.
Utter?
Utter? I mean, you. How do you pronounce that?
I'm just the winged goat being milked. Utters.
Guffaw.
Guffaw. Peanut butter. I called her peanut butter or them. Are we calling Peanut Hamper a she or a they because they're a machine? Like, do they have pronouns?
I think she's a she. No?
I think she's a she. We'll go she.
Know.
Yeah. Anyway, this is an episode all about redemption.
Is it?
Or is it? Or is it?
This is gonna be a long show.
The little exocomp that couldn't redeem herself. How many times does she break the Prime Directive? And what happens when the crew of the Cerritos answers her distress call? We're going to break it all down, but first, Giraffe. It is back to you, El Capitan. We need to thank our Pager Collective at the Ready Room level and above.
It cannot be 4 weeks. I've not.
It's actually, I think, been more than 4 weeks because we didn't do it last week.
No.
Lies.
Okay, lies. Okay, thank you to our dear patrons. The list is growing. I think we should do a contest where we see how many we can say by heart.
I actually like this contest.
Right? I'm gonna lose, but I'm gonna do it. Okay. Simon Steiger, Jay Freeve, Maria Gossett, Tallulah, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santos, Kang Hui, Takako Nagumo, Kara Kennedy, Mark, Fernanda Nogales, SMK, Laura Lindemann, I lost my line, sorry, Colin Davidson, Alan Davis, Shatterhand 2049, Jesco, MC Frodes, Michael Graham, Emily and Travis, Gildara, Cassie, Raul, Summer Ritchie, supporter of Ghoulies Right. Thank you for doing the October thing. Thank you. Maggie Light, fighting fascism is a full-time job. Wayne Ritz, Scone of Arc, Sean, J. Howard, Anna Yurdadon, Mai Halani, Yuchiyama, and Joshua Lewis.
Yay!
Thank you.
And the crowd goes wild. Speaking of our beautiful, amazing patrons who support us in your amazing ways, your Uhura stickers have shipped out. And Giraffe, Hawk, and Eric, your Uhura stickers have shipped out as well. They went out today. Yeah, you guys are eventually getting things from me. It just takes a year and a half. Sorry, not sorry.
Sounds about right.
I'll get my water bottle that Giraffe got me in like 2 years. It's fine.
Do you mean?
Oh, I know. I was waiting for the eyes. I just had to do it. I just wanted the reaction.
You
I'm
see
not
the
actually
hurt?
mad.
How you see how you hurt?
I do.
Me?
Yes, I do. It made me not happy to hurt you, but the reaction was worth it. The Uhura stickers have gone out. We put this on the Discord so you all know we have about 12 or 13 of them left over. We usually don't sell them and give them away, but they're really special. We're honoring Nichelle. So if you would like to buy our leftovers, please just hit claim in response to our post on Discord. They're $3 each. That includes a stamp. We'll mail them to you. Let us know if you want them. They are beautiful. Some people started getting them today. So let us know when you get them. Speaking of Uhura, we've been back and forth trying to announce this for a couple of weeks. We finally can, and I'm going to...
No, wait. We were supposed to announce it last week, but you were not here, so we were unable, 2 weeks ago, and we were unable to,
And then we had Fred
figure
last
it out
week.
by ourselves.
Yeah,
so...
yeah.
Yes.
So that same sticker, we are going to make into Strange New Pod's first ever animal pin. Okay, so really nice, high quality pin. They're gonna pre-orders are gonna go live tomorrow, and the pins will be $20 each. Now, why so expensive? Well, the pins aren't cheap; they cost a lot to make. Also, shipping. So we have to factor that in. And 3, the proceeds of that cost are going to get donated to Girls Who Code, which is an awesome organization. They're not just teaching girls how to code. They're preparing them to thrive and lead in the tech workforce. It is a great organization. They're reaching girls around the world, globally, and they're on track to close the gender gap with new entry-level tech jobs by 2030, which is a pretty fucking cool goal if you ask me.
Yep.
So, and they're starting all the way at the ground up from grades 3 through 12.
Yeah. We work with. I worked with
it's
them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Me too.
So yeah. So it's a really cool organization. We can't wait to make the pin. They are pre-order only. We do need to hit a certain amount of orders to get them made because it costs a lot to make them, but we do want to make these for you. It's going to be available to everyone on Discord. We're going to put posts in public too. So these are going to be open to everybody. We hope you buy them because we think they're pretty fantastic. And Eric did a killer job on the design. So, yeah. And then my last thing, actually, no, you know what, Draft? I will let you go now because you have a big announcement.
Yay! Maybe you've seen this on Twitter. I've been working for some time with The Companion, which is a website and an app. And they are an app for all the sci-fi lover. You have articles about The Expanse, about Stargate, and now they're starting to write about Star Trek too. And they have this very cool line of interview that's called To Boldly Go, and they interview John Delancey and Jonathan Frakes and George Takei, and we're gonna do a super cool roundtable with 2 other podcasters that I know and love, were Jesse Gender and Kyle from Trexpertise, and it's gonna be on October 2nd, which is a Saturday at
October
2 p.m.
22nd, right?
22nd, sorry. There were too many twos.
Yeah,
it's
a lot of
October 22nd.
Two.
October 22nd at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So 5 p.m. for you at Eastern, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about George's legacy. We're going to talk about his work for the LGBTQ community and anti-racism and all very, very interesting topics. We have a special link for our patrons to have 100 days free on the companion. The roundtable is accessible for everybody. It's going to be free on the platform, so you just need to register. And yeah, I hope it's going to be fun.
I'm stoked. It looks fun. I've been being kept in the loop by you, and I'm stoked about what you guys are going to talk about. So if you have any question, hit me up on Twitter or on Discord, and the link is going to appear very soon on the Patreon for our patrons to try out the companion. Sweet.
Do you have a regular link for just the website that we could put in the chat?
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to do that in a second as soon as I find it. Live shows.
Speaking of more amazing things for patrons, this is why if you're not a patron yet, you should join our patrons, because we have about a bit under 30 minutes of behind the scenes audio from last week's interview with Fred Tatasciore that we are going to be releasing exclusively for
Tatasciore.
patrons. Tatasciore, if you're going to Italy. So be on the lookout for that soon. I got to go make sure there's no spoiler things that he can't talk about in there and edit a few things out. But that'll be there exclusively for patrons. Happy hour next week.
Yes, next week happy hour. We're not doing a giraffe drinks early happy hour. Next week we're doing a back to old system for this week. So we'll have the happy hour just following the show, and the link will be posted on Patreon.
So much going on the Patreon
Oh my
collective.
God, so much,
it's fucking
so
amazing.
much.
Let's get into it, guys. Let's do the strange new loop. And speaking of redemption arcs and failed redemption arcs and whatever the fuck this was this week, what Star Trek character deserved a redemption arc that either had one and it didn't work out, or didn't get their chance to have one, and why? Who's got one?
Question.
Thanks. I
That's
worked hard on
like-
this one.
Ensign Rowe. That she
Yeah,
was
it's a good answer.
redemption. Yeah, I feel
well-
like she redeemed it, but
But then the Maquis happened and they had a legitimate gripe, you know?
yeah. So I do want her back.
Yeah.
But I
and
don't
chat,
feel
let us know
she-
your
I
answers too.
I don't feel she needs redemption though, because I think she's right.
I don't think she needs redemption either.
She was where she was supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never comfortable on the Enterprise. Riker. He never really made her feel part of the crew either. So
Everybody says that, but I think Riker maybe, at the beginning didn't like her, but I think by the end of the episode when she joins the Maquis, I actually think that he sympathized with her. I talked about this on Duras Sisters.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't think she needs redemption.
No.
I agree.
I got one.
Go ahead.
Captain Ben Maxwell from The Wounded.
Ooh, yes. He wasn't wrong either.
He wasn't wrong, It's like he definitely took things a little too far in that, but like nobody was listening to him. And at the end of the day, he was right. So I always kind of wondered what happened to him.
Yeah. We'll never know, right?
Yeah.
Probably not.
No.
I like that answer because that goes so deep into like, did he do wrong? Did he not do wrong? He was absolutely right, and Picard knows he's right at the end of that episode. So,
Oh yeah.
very good answer, Hawk. Eric?
These are all very serious answers, so I need to think of something that's not serious.
I don't know.
Like-
They're wrong answers too. They're not
No,
wrong.
I have an answer if you want to keep thinking.
Yeah.
No, yeah, go for it. I'll be
Okay.
last with the worst answer.
I like it. It better not be the worst. Thomas Riker. Thomas Riker.
That's a
Alright.
good
want-
answer.
I want Thomas Riker stories. I want to see him get broken out of Cardassian prison if he lived, if he died. Even if he, what would be a great redemption arc for him? Like during the purge at the end of DS9 when Cardassia is basically getting glassed, him fighting alongside Cardassians, right? And like trying to take back the planet from the Dominion. Like that would be like his way to go, or his redemption, right? For, stealing the Defiant and doing those things. Thomas Riker, give me more Thomas Riker stories. That's mine.
I was thinking about Harry Mudd.
Yeah.
Why? I want to. Yeah. Why
Is he
not?
redeemable?
That's the question. So
That is the question.
That's good.
Yeah. That is
Why
the
not?
question.
I think
I mean,
Stella
yeah.
can be like beat some redemption into him.
I mean-
Stella.
I mean, if
Stella.
Geordi gets redeemed from doing all that holodeck stuff, I mean, anyone-
Dude, not
That
even
was not
Geordi. Reg
bad.
Barkley.
I mean, like, come
Reg
on.
Barkley.
What about Benedict Cumbercon?
Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
my god.
Oh shit. Shit just got
No.
real.
Uh-uh.
Oh boy.
Wouldn't you do anything for your family?
Kirk? Wouldn't you do anything for your family?
He was a more sympathetic
You
Khan,
should have
I
let
feel.
me sleep.
Sort of.
Yes.
I love
So-
that.
But
comment.
it should
I-
have just been John Harrison and not Khan.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
The question is like John Harrison.
John
is he
Harrison would have been
redeemable?
a good redeemable.
a good villain.
Or
yeah.
even that guy from Doctor Who blew up that building at the beginning of that movie.
Yes, he was the companion along with Rose for
Yeah.
David Tennant. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, Khan shouldn't be a sympathetic character.
No, he
Khan
shouldn't.
was an
I agree.
ultimate narcissist.
But it's a different universe.
different Khan. Yeah,
Mm.
and he was being used like by Starfleet for bad things. Section 31 bullshit. No, it's a good answer. I like it.
Jesco
Not
has
the
a good
worst answer. Go ahead, Draft.
Jesco says, I choose Book. Let him come back and be badass with Michael again.
Yeah,
but Book is gonna be redeemed. Come on,
Yeah.
He's like
himself
on his
already.
redemption arc, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, I mean, he's got reparations, right? Like that he's got.
I don't know. Was he wrong?
No, I never liked the fact that he
That's
basically
that's a lot of trauma that he's going through at that moment, man.
His whole planet was destroyed. I don't know if he's wrong.
He's wrong, but he has good reasons to be
good
wrong.
intentions. Good intentions.
It's just it seemed like a little too late in the season when he realized, oh, I'm on the wrong side of this. You know?
Well, you got to remember, it wasn't that late in the season, but then like they had fucking filler episodes like Disco does, so it felt like it was late in the season. But
they did just punch everything into like 3 episodes at the end. You're like, oh shit, I'm bad. Maybe I should be good.
Yeah,
again.
it's like, for example, Taka, when like that would have been an interesting redemption arc. You know, because Taka, if he had given like more time to just like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself and I'm gonna redeem myself, and
he would have been
redeem
good
myself. It's like, come on, like give me some episodes where I see him like go through it.
Like when Aaron Wright redeemed. What? No.
Damn it. All right, guys. Pod's over. We're gonna go watch Expanse.
No,
See you
just
later.
do it on the podcast.
Do it on the podcast.
You can stream.
I like that when we're watching the Expand, we'll go like fucking Taka, and when we're watching Discovery, like fucking Aaron White.
you can do live watch parties with it. It's on Prime.
Yes.
True. Hey, maybe we should do that. I'm not gonna read Havens because they know what they did wrong. So, you know what you did wrong.
It's true.
You did me dirty. Let's get into our review of a mathematically Wow, I wrote that so wrong. A mathematically perfection redemption. That's actually a better episode name, I think. A mathematically perfect redemption, episode 307 of Lower Decks. Our roundtable order tonight will be Eric, Hawk, and Giraffe, folled by myself if I have anything fancy to say. So
I've never been that happy to be last.
Right? This is just the whole thing with this episode is the not redemption of Peanut Hamper. The episode starts off with it shows the episode of the season 1 finale where the Titan swoops in. She's already mutinied and left the ship because she doesn't want to sacrifice herself. We're going to come back to this, so I'm going to say this very important thing right now. She just joined Starfleet to stick it to her parents. Remember that. And she fucks off. And she sees the battle ensue, everybody leaves, and she is fucked, and she's like, help, help. And you feel a little bad for her. Maybe not. Maybe not. So after they leave, she's trying to build a warp engine because she doesn't want to contact Starfleet because they're just going to lock her up. The Jugmani come, and they actually almost take her away. But she escapes. She uses her doll that she made to keep her company, like her Wilson from Castaway.
Yes.
To use as a decoy. She warps away, but that engine like quickly just fails, and it doesn't build starships like Rutherford does. And crash lands on Areolas.
It's a pre-warp civilization.
Yeah, one of those. A planet where every species has wings. What do we think about the opening of this one? No true title effect this week. I actually kind of liked the way they did the titles this week. But Eric, hit it.
I thought it was cool. I liked that battle at the end of season 1.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, so it was nice. It was nice seeing it from a different perspective. Even though the commentary was high pitched and a little bit annoying. She's so narcissistic that she thinks that, oh yeah, of course they're gonna come save me. I'm part of Starfleet, so that means they're gonna obviously, come save me. And she just gets stuck out there. And like you said, she ended up having her own Wilson doll, and it was so funny. I like the sequence of her going slightly crazier while building a very low warp
0.2, 0.3
maybe. And the sequence of her actually going to warp was gorgeous. I thought that was beautifully animated, and her landing. It was all pretty funny, if not a little weird. And what I didn't expect was to see Peanut Hamper again. So I wasn't. It wasn't something that was a character I didn't ever want to see again. So seeing her again was just jarring. At the first time I saw this, I've watched this episode like 4 times just to wrap my head around it. And
you're a better person than I am.
I watched it 3 to do the same. So
I watched it 3 times in 17 pieces.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly say, Hawk, before you go, to go off what Eric said. We may not like this episode, and I think some maybe liked it more than others. But one thing that could be agreed upon with this episode, it's probably one of the most beautifully animated episodes of Lower Decks. Ever.
All of the production design, like the sound design, was gorgeous, especially in the end battle. Just great.
The detailing on the Cerritos damage was crazy.
The amount of bird sex sounds, man, just like crazy.
Just get the fuck out of me.
And the music, beautiful. It's
score.
not a little weird at times, but still beautiful. I thought it was good despite what was happening.
Huck.
I like the opening quite a bit. I didn't, like as soon as they did that, previously on, I was like, oh, okay, because I knew nothing about this episode going into it, and and the fact that they went back to Peanut Hamper after 2 seasons
Of all people.
of all people, of all things, and then was it was a little off-putting at first. But it was interesting to see her just like, doing the whole Castaway thing, as you mentioned. She seemed to really she really seemed to love Sophia at first, and that, but my God, like, Sophia was the first one to get thrown in once the
fucking betrayal.
It speaks to her character so much.
100%.
Right?
Yeah. I think I mentioned to Julian earlier, we've seen portrayals of good AI in film and television. We've seen portrayals of evil and bad AI and that.
Remember that kid that ends up at like the bottom of the ocean or whatever?
Oh yeah. I saw that in the theater. My God.
AI. That was good.
AI. Yeah.
I don't think we've ever really tackled, a narcissistic a-hole AI.
No.
So
Jeffrey Combs.
No,
he was just an asshole.
He's more in the evil.
He's like
mega narcissistic evil. Yeah, not
evil
asshole,
plotting AI, and that narcissistic a-hole, and that mostly just with self-regard, and that it's a subject of AI I don't think we've tackled yet. But yeah, I did really love that opening sequence, and that it's like that kind of little stark beauty in that of seeing her floating around in space, and that the music was a little down tempo, and that it was really lovely to watch. And it was a bit of a throwback to like that scene from 2009's Star Trek, and that.
That's a great reference. Mm-hmm. After the Kelvin's destroyed and the shuttles are going. Oh, dude! Wow! Wow! Nice catch.
Yeah.
So. It also really reminded me of watching an opening of Solar Opposites. That's what.
We're gonna talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't read that line. Giraffe.
Oh.
Hey, you throw yourself under your own bus, okay? Don't drag me.
The bus is driven by you, so.
I mean, I would say what's new, but like, what's new?
I'm not gonna say too much because I did not read the outline, but one day.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna say that, and I'm gonna be. I read the outline, and that day is gonna be glorious.
Why don't you give your thoughts on the opening and stop lying to me?
Okay, so I liked the opening. I was like, okay, Peanut Hamper. Do I want it? No, but I'm like, why not? That can be a cool start of a story. Maybe she's gonna become a great villain, or maybe she's actually gonna grow and become Zora, the AI in Discovery. I don't know. Yeah. Why not? Growth. Cool.
Or Beecher.
People have watched Insecure. Cool. This growth. Anyway, so Brit is not here to help me. So what can I do? And so I was into it. I was into it at the beginning. Like I like some like warp core made of like junk. I'm like, okay, why not? But I was a bit wary. And then I had, you see my background? I was like this throughout the episode. Why?
Yeah.
What is happening? But I like the intro. Like it. They had me at the intro. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Same. I loved the intro. I loved how cinematic it was. It was beautiful. Like Eric said, it was great seeing it from a different point of view. And even though, I knew we were getting Peanut Hamper at some point because of the posters and the advertising, but like I didn't know we were gonna get her back in this way. Like you would think it would be like maybe like more comedic. And this opening gave me a little bit of hope because it was pretty cool. And then, things
Why?
happened. Why? Let's get to the why. Let's go to Areolas and the Arior at first are not fond of having an outsider on their planet, but then Peanut Hamper at the will and behest of their leader begins to kind of break the prime directive left to right, saving Kaltoris from the sky snake bite, who's their leader, with a hypo spray. This is another one that I'm going to talk about, making sure all the hatchlings survive, milking the flying goat, etc., 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 all just while being a giant fucking asshole. Thoughts, Eric?
I knew this was going to be some sort of sci-fi trope / Star Trek trope that we would see, but what I didn't expect was for her to be a douchebag the whole way through. And I sort of I thought it was funny, if not a little annoying. Just because I never expected. Why would you, like, they were still so enamored by everything she could do, and she was just being the worst person, or worst being to them.
Exocomp.
Yeah, it was fine, I guess. I don't know what else I could say. I've seen this episode 4 times, and still I'm just like, okay, why would they want to? I guess not. I guess living is more important than having to deal with someone who's annoying them the whole time. Also, I really like the sky snake line.
Yeah.
Shouldn't that just be a snake? That made me laugh. There are some good parts in it, but most of the time I was just like, well, okay, weird.
Yeah.
This is a weird episode.
Hawk.
So you know what, I would be terrible around her on that, because like I kind of totally bought into, like, maybe it was like her defenses were starting to come down. And
did you feel that though?
After the hatchling with the
yeah.
whole hatchlings and that, and they're all climbing on top of her, and she's like kind of laughing and that, and and then things happen with the raw dog.
Oh, you.
Your parts are so different.
I think that was
wing it. That was a good pun.
Just shut up.
At that point when they were kind of introducing the planet and how everything has wings on it, and that this is like kind of the first time I was like, oh, okay, they're kind of breaking away with like a Star Trek theme show for this and that, and making it more like a Rick and Morty episode and that.
It was 100% a Rick and Morty episode.
A planet where everything has wings on it.
Yeah. Even just the ridiculousness of that whole sequence is straight out of a random. It's like a Rick and Morty episode where you don't focus on Rick and Morty, and you focus on, and they're just like, oh, and then at the end, Rick and Morty show up, and they're like, oh, that was a fun adventure at like Sealand or whatever, SeaWorld.
It's the thing. It's like Rick and Morty, like, Rick is being a dick throughout the episode, but that's Rick and Morty, so that's why you're watching it, right?
Right.
But this is Star Trek, and that's not why I'm watching it, kind of.
Yeah.
So I was like, why do what other show do in a way that is not as good, I'd say? I don't know.
It's weird because I know they're loosely connected, so it was weird actually, because I know people before this show came on, they were just like, this is gonna be Rick and Morty but in Star Trek, and we never got anything like that until this moment.
Well, yeah, and that was, if we go all the way back to when like we were previewing Lower Decks before it came out and then reviewing it, like that was my biggest fear, because I'm not a Rick and Morty fan. I was like, this is just gonna be butchering Star Trek, and of course, like this show has been a fucking treasure. Like it's amazing, and yeah, this Eric's right. Like this is the first time we've gotten something like this.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hawk.
Sorry, Hawk. Yeah,
that's okay.
Sorry, Hawk.
I think where to go from this. Like I said, I didn't hate this episode as much as a lot of other people did, and that I actually really enjoyed the performance of Peanut Hamper and that. The voice actor's name and that.
I will try and find it.
It's kind of an odd name. It's Kether something.
Keep going.
Yeah, but I
there
Heather
you go.
Donahue, that's right. And I did find some of her lines pretty hysterical in that.
Yeah.
And I genuinely enjoyed her performance. Even if you don't sympathize with a character in that, you can still enjoy that performance in that. And she did have some great lines in that. Like from that bit when they discovered that she discovered all that technology underneath the trees and that. And she's like, oh, so I haven't been breaking the prime
Right.
directive the whole time.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm good.
Draft.
I think it pissed me off that we're going again with like, oh, it's a pre-warp culture. And I'm like, ugh. Like the huts and like the tribal, like cliche.
It looks like
And-
the Ewok village too.
Mhm, it looks like
it
a lot
looks
of
like
things.
the Ewok village. It looks like, I
It's
don't
like
know.
Moana's
it's like
village.
Moana,
Yeah.
Avatar, that kind of. I'm like, I like when Lower Decks does that and like turns it into a satire of Star Trek, criticizing the way where like all these civilization were like always like shown as primitive, and they actually
Yeah.
say primitive in like not Lower Decks, but in so many shows, right? And I thought like, oh, they're
Say it
gonna
in
do
this one
like
too.
they said it in that one,
In this episode, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think they do. Yeah.
and I'm just like, come on, like no culture is primitive. It's a different culture, and and I like the fact that they actually are not pre-warp. They just like decided not to be warping anymore.
Right.
Like
But
Moana.
Like Moana. Yep.
yeah, like Moana.
This
but
this was literally
it's
Moana.
a
this
thousand
episode.
Moana.
Never
Yeah,
seen
the
Moana.
cave and so on. Like, oh my god, it's good. Watch Moana. I really like it.
There is an early indication in the episode that they definitely are more familiar with technology than they let
Because
on.
they know what she is. They know
and
what she is.
the elder realized she was recharging her battery cells.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, good point, Huck. Yep.
Yeah. But like it's again like they did all that civilization thing, but then there was no point to it. So it was just one more, oh, this is a primitive culture in Star Trek and it's 2022. Can we move on? Like at least I liked in other shows when you had like this pre-warp culture, like in Voyager, pre-warp culture, and you would see that they would not be, in huts. They
Right.
would be like, I don't know, industrialization or like different level of development for a civilization. At least you had like different ideas, but like it was so cliche, and it's so cliche from so many different movie, and then the satire never comes, kind of, or did I miss it? Oh
No, I don't think there was satire because I don't think you missed it. I think it was the way the episode was directed and acted, not bad mouthing the actor because this is who Peanut Hamper is, but it just I never ever got like every single time I was like, this isn't genuine, this isn't even real. Even with the hatchlings, like I never bought it, and I don't know if they wanted us to ever buy it, but I never did. So
for me it was too much good savage, like the theory of the good savage. It's Rousseau, French Enlightenment. Is it too heavy for a Star Trek podcast? I don't care. So the theory, like the it's not the theory, it's the whatever, the story of the good savage. It is like this idea that civilization culture that live close to the nature are the good savages because they're not like touched by industrialization or progress. Then they're good people at heart because it's society that makes you bad, so they're good and they give you fruits and they're nice, which is like absolute bullshit. We all know that, right? Like you don't need to be, you can be an asshole in in this society structure. And Star Trek does this over and over again, like that good savage thing. They live in hut and they fly and they're good people, blah blah blah. And I hope that the parody would come to the fact that they would be dicks to her.
Yeah.
Like she was being a dick and they would like answer likewise, instead of having like that person that comes from like that warping like stellar society and be mean, and then they learn like the good thing. It's like Bobby Savior, like these people will go to poor communities and be like, they're so happy because they're not touched by all the like thing like iPhones and so on like us. and finally it kind of like ends up in that trope. I think that's what pissed me off again, because I was really looking for the parody or for like the twist that they would have, that usually they have in Lower Decks, and in the end they just have the twist that she's still an asshole, and I'm like, that's all. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done ranting and with the philosophy lesson. I mean, I'm gonna rant more of it. Like,
So-
whatever.
For me, like I could never get past what you were just talking about, Giraffe. That Peanut Hamper just was a giant douchebag for the entire episode, and then we just find out that guess what? There's a level 200 of her giant douchebagness. So like, I can't stand the voice. I know, and this is no. It was a directing choice, an acting choice. I'm not trying to badmouth the actor. It just didn't work for me. It just made me want to like pick my eyeballs out. I also have to say that the aviary scene or the hatching scene is really fucked up. It has so much more depth than I think people realize. This is not, like Giraffe was saying, not an advanced culture, right? And she's doing all these things. Like you can get past candy being replicated and people getting hypersprayed, but she just made sure that all 37 of those eggs hatched without knowing a single thing, if they're able to be fed, if they have places to live, if like she didn't let the natural order of things take place. And what happens at the end of the episode also has a direct effect on that, because their home is burning and in shambles. What happens to all of those hatchlings now? It's a good gesture that is also just a disastrous decision, and that's like the thing that bothered
Flux.
me. Yeah, that just really bothered me about the episode
It's
a lot.
hilarious because I thought the same thing as soon as I saw the hatchling part. I was like, I wonder if this is going to affect the ecosystem of their way
It's
of
like,
living.
it's like when
exactly.
people got
Alright,
snapped
no,
back
I'm
in
gonna-
the
I'm gonna-
MCU.
I'm-
right?
I'm gonna veto. I'm gonna be like the odd bird on this. I'm sorry.
Get off my bridge.
No, it's like the same reason like you would say, oh, poor people should not have like as many kids. Like, no, like if they have all these hatchlings, and well, that's good that like no kids
No.
died. Come on.
I get that, and I'm sure they find they would find the resources, but that becomes a much more extreme issue after everything else that she does later in the
no.
episode.
For me,
Where are
it's
they
like
gonna go-
Flux,
where are they gonna
when
sleep?
Flux,
Like, where are
like
they- yeah.
when it's when like Flux say like, oh no, if we should let evolution like take its course, even if that means that the whole civilization dies, and I have the vaccine to save them all. Like it's same. She can save all the hatchlings.
Oh.
Why would she not?
She was also replicating food for them, so I assume that that's how they're gonna feed
Fair.
them.
Yeah.
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 I mean, you can be like, oh, let the kid die because there's not enough food for them. Like, come on.
And-
No, I'm with
oh.
Peanut Hamper on this. I'm with Peanut Hamper. Save
But
the
al-
hatchlings. Hashtag
always-
save the hatchlings.
Always remember that she wasn't doing this out of the goodness of her.
That's also true.
She was doing this to show off. Basically.
Listen, if somebody wants to show off and like save my kids from dying, I don't have kids, but whatever. I'd be like, okay, show off, save my kid.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Let's move on. So as this keeps going and she keeps laying down her plan, Peanut Hamper, quote unquote, falls for Ramda after a whole lot of avian exocomp, giggity giggity. And the two get married, and there was no one in the background going, boo, boo. No,
Well,
Princess
she's
Bride
there,
reference
like-
there. No, but there's
Yeah.
got to be a couple people that are like not happy with her still, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. But as soon as they get married, the Jukmani return. We learn that the Arior used to be a spacefaring warp culture. No Moana musical number there, unfortunately.
Missed opportunity.
The totally missed opportunity. But yeah, they gave those ways up for their island. Peanut Hamper sends out a distress call finally, and the Cerritos arrives. As Ariel burns, literally burning, like you mentioned, Draft, like Avatar. This is Avatar. Yeah, as it's burning. Yeah, after the home tree gets destroyed, right? It's revealed that I love Avatar. That Peanut Hamper set the whole fucking thing up. The whole thing was this big giant plan for her to be able to come in, swoop in, save the day while the Jockmani get what they want, or the Jukemani, sorry. And I don't know if there's really a point of asking, or maybe I will just ask, as Giraffe's been saying all night, why? Why did they go this route? Like, why is this episode necessary? Just why, Eric?
Okay, so let's start off with the biggest fault here, and it's the no musical number. And that's because Heather Donahue is a Bella from Pitch Perfect, so she is a singer. So why? You could have just done it. I don't know.
Because I hate musicals, and I would not have survived this episode plus a musical. I would just
It might have made it
What?
1,000 times better.
Why hate musicals? Musicals are fun. They uplift you.
Why are they singing? They
Because
just, break into singing in the middle of a sentence.
In
Who does that?
musicals,
So creepy.
I did a big paper on these. When I did like a big study. Anyway, it's when emotions get too heightened in that medium that's when song erupts. It's like when you watch Scott Pilgrim and
Yes.
it gets heightened enough that it becomes a video game, right? Anyway, it's not important.
But
This is
I
not
like,
important for this one.
I'm with you.
I
I'm
like
with you.
video games, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's fair. You should like musicals. They're fun. Dun, 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 dun. There was no, oh God, like this episode, like when I was saying that there are Rick and Morty episodes where a whole plot happens and then right at the end, Rick and Morty show up. That's what happened here, because the Cerritos just shows up at the end to be like, well, I guess we have to show up because it's a Lower Decks episode. Yes. And sorry, I just saw the Buffy episode, the thing down there.
Yeah.
And it's distracted me.
Bunnies.
It must be bunnies.
Bunnies.
I don't know. I think because the whole episode, I didn't believe that Peanut Hamper was doing anything for the good. I knew that eventually it would come out, and I knew that they would all be pissed at her. What I didn't expect was the Agimus thing at the end, and that was my favorite part of the episode, is seeing all the evil AI and her
we are going
becoming.
to talk about that as well.
Yes. But I don't know. It was beautiful to look at. Like seeing the new spaceship that looked like a giant bird. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I thought the battle and all the destruction. I like that. I don't know, Hawk guy. I don't remember his name anymore. I'm just gonna call him
Ramda.
I'm gonna call him Hawk.
Just call him Raw Dog.
No, I'm gonna call him Hawk. Cartoon Hawk became like, he stepped up, which expected. It's Avatar mixed with what was it? Not Last of the Mohicans. Tatanka.
Dances with Wolves?
Dances with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves. Okay.
So basically, it was just that movie in an animated form with instead of Native Americans or was it Navi? Was that what
Navi? The
Navi.
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 Now we have bird people. So it was something I'd seen many times before. I'm not surprised. It was just pretty to see, I guess.
Hawk.
Yeah, it was full of a lot of stuff we've seen in sci-fi and that. Again, I am a sucker. This is why I should never be left alone with an AI. When the twist came that she was the one who summoned the Jukmani and that, and sent out the distress signal, I was like, oh my God. Like, this is where the character of Peanut Hamper really comes in, like kind of full circle in that. It's like an AI is just gonna do its programming in that, and she was never really gonna evolve into a good person or whatever. And that she was an AI, a selfish, narcissistic AI a-hole the entire episode. And that, so yeah, I was like, okay, these are the fruits of these labors.
Oh, it's ramped up so much, and it's so frustrating. Oh my God.
Oh, and the hissy fit she throws at
Yeah.
the end, and that when she knows she's basically, she's screwed, and that's like, keeps trying to signal the Borg.
Yep.
That Borg line was
I did
hilarious.
love that. Yeah.
It's like, tap, don't touch me. Resistance is futile. Resistance is futile.
Yeah. Giraffe's just ready to go off. I could see it in her eyes.
Do it.
About what? Like, okay, that end was, I don't know. again, I think if the birds would have been evil and mean, and like they were the one tricking everybody into getting their dilithium or something like this, or like actually trying to steal her battery to like make their warp core work or something, or use her as like
Yeah.
a central computer for their fleet that were like stranded because they didn't have an AI anymore. I think that would have been so much better as a twist. Because these wall civilization is literally useless. Like
Yeah.
they create these wall people, they speak about them, and then what? They get murdered, and that's the end. Like they're
Yeah.
a tool to the plot, and I don't see the point to do that thing
And
anymore.
that's the thing, like, and I know Starfleet, right? Like Starfleet's gonna come in and like help and do relief efforts still, but like it was just all so fucking unnecessary. Like
It would have
Well,
been.
you know, like wait, go ahead.
It would
sorry.
have been cool if they were like, you know what, maybe we should embrace this technology that we had abandoned for such a long, like the end of Moana.
well, I'm sure, yeah.
That would have been a good evolution.
Yeah, but then
of
it's
that.
Moana. Like,
Yeah, it's already
why
Moana.
did
Did they do that at the end of this episode?
This
They-
episode is Mo. He
Yeah.
does go and save the day in the
Yeah.
big ship.
He does, but
still,
not the
yeah.
rest of the society.
Yeah.
It would have made.
Well, because at the end of the episode, basically, when he basically takes the mantle of leader and that, he's, they always feared that technology and that, and, the old ways and that. And he said, we're going
Yeah,
forward
but-
now without fear and that.
that's
so,
why they don't go past the reef.
Again, it's such a trope, like, to have like these like, and I'm doing quotes with my fingers, but like this primitive culture being afraid of technology. Like, give me a rest. Like, give me a break with this. Like, really? It's like, oh, they're afraid of photography. They're afraid of warp. And it's just literally again the good savage. It's like, oh, they're gonna abandon all technology because like that they can be good people. Get the fuck out of here. That's not how you become
We're
a
also
good
missing
person.
the other giant reference who did this, the fucking Baku in Star Trek Insurrection. They did the same
True.
fucking thing.
Oh, yeah, that
True.
movie.
Yeah.
And it was dumb back then. It's still
Sure
dumb
was.
now. And this is like a trope that needs to be abandoned because I feel so many people are like blaming. Like, I'm a millennial. Like most
I think
like
we're all
of us.
millennials.
Yeah, we are.
Yep.
And we
I
get
think
blame
Hawk is
about
Gen
like
X.
Huck. Huck, are you Gen X?
Calling out Hawk.
He is Gen X. You are Gen X.
I guess.
I'm
Oh,
at
look
the,
at it!
I'm at the edge of millennial, so you are definitely
Yeah,
Gen
I'm
X.
at the age.
I
Yeah,
was
I'm like,
definitely
yeah.
Gen X.
I'm one
We are
year
all
into
millennials.
millennial.
Yeah.
God.
So we get blamed and about like all the things like, oh, it's because they're always on their iPhone and blah blah blah, or like I'm a gamer, right? And
Yeah.
like how often like video games get blamed for like violence and stuff. It's like no, it's not technology that makes you a dick.
Yeah.
It's like rules in our society that encourage people being dicks and not having like safeguards for people acting whatever. And I feel that shows that are like again and again showing that, oh, if you don't have technology, you're a good person, are like making a disservice because, damn, this is Star Trek. Literally, like it's a technological advanced utopia.
Yeah.
Give me a rest with like this primitive society that are good people. Like, give me and I was expecting from Lower Decks. I'm going again in the same rant. I'm sorry, you heard
That's
me
okay.
twice, but
Rant,
really
rant,
pissed me
rant.
off. And like, I was not expecting that from Lower Decks of all
Yeah.
shows. Like, I was pissed. You remember in Discovery with like this like Jean Valjean like kind of like thing with the people in the penal colony
On the asteroid, yeah.
yeah, and then
yeah.
like sacrifice themselves because they were
Yeah.
bad people. I was
Mhm.
like, give me
Mhm.
some. What the fuck was that? But like Lower Decks has been so acid, so like pointy on like the parody and the satire and pointing the thing in Star Trek that were always a bit like,
Yeah.
But
They've been doing that. Sorry, Eric.
No, that's fine.
They've been doing that while also running the same course that Starfleet is a place for good. And ultimately, even if there's fuck ups, like good things happen and like they do the right thing. Like when Rutherford wants to change, like in season 1, we wants to change apartments like multiple times. The parody would have been them like shitting on him, right? But no, they're all like, yeah, like, baby bear, like go do your thing, go join security, go join command. Like, so that's like why in this episode, like you expect Peanut Hamper, and maybe you don't because I didn't buy her performance the whole time. Like, you expect the turn for her to be really good, and then when she doesn't, it's even more infuriating because like Lower Decks has always been about, you know, at the end of the day, even if it's sometimes under shady circumstances, doing the right thing, and like that didn't happen.
I
here, and
was
that drove me
I was
crazy.
not disturbed by the fact that she didn't like became good. I think that would have pissed me off too.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it would be like,
I
if
don't know if I
Tendy
would have
doesn't-
been happy either way.
If
I-
Tendy
I'm-
doesn't
yeah.
turn you good, no one's gonna turn you good.
Yeah, exactly.
I think.
yeah, and
True.
Oh, sorry. Go.
go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
I
Go.
was just
You
saying,
go first.
The weird thing about this episode for me is that every episode seems to have a point to the whole season, and this one just seems like a one-off
point.
that's not going to have any repercussions. There's no lesson learned by the end of it, so this is just a one-off episode that's gonna not get replayed when I watch it in the season run. Unless it randomly Peanut Hamper like becomes the main bad guy at the end.
In 9 or 10,
Yeah.
which we don't know yet.
But
yeah.
see, you have like a little bit of the same trope in Endor, but like treated in a way different way with the what's the name of his people?
I don't remember their
Oh.
name.
From, like-
yeah, the God.
Kitari. It's something anyway. So you see them and you see them like you see their culture, you see them, and they would be like kind of the same structure of society. You know, they live in the trees, right? They're like making Kenari, thank you. So you have like kind of the same structure, but you see them being fucked. Sorry for people that didn't watch Endor, but like it's the first episode, so that's okay. But you keep them like you see the planet being fucked by like, you know, technology that comes and like just ripped out like the Empire rips out like the resources. And I think it was like a great commentary, even a little bit in your face, but it was a great commentary. But you see them take lead and take action, and you see Cation being like, you know, proactive, even if he's a victim too.
Yeah.
And I think it was like such a smart way to use that trope that we see again and again and again and again and again in Star Wars, but make it about them, you know?
Yeah. And I think with Andor, they're not a pre-technology society or whatever. They've been strip mined so much that if you notice in the first episode, it's all children there, right? All the adults have died. So these kids have sort of evolved and maybe adapted to the living conditions on that planet that has been, you know, so meticulously brutalized.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, and then here it's nothing. Like people are saying it's a throwaway episode. Yeah, but it's okay when you're at 24 episodes.
Again, I agree. Yeah, it is, but it is a throwaway episode. But you can't afford to do that when.
Or
it's
maybe they're
10,
gonna use it in season 3 in a very epic manner. And I'm
we'll
like,
see it in
season
two
4, sorry,
seasons.
and I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Peanut Hamper comes back.
But right now I'm very confused.
Yeah. Eric, I want to go back to what you mentioned earlier about solar opposites, because Jesco in our Discord chat earlier today actually wrote about this, and I wanted to read her comment. The last season of Solar Opposites, we got a weird episode like this where it was 2 minutes of the main aliens and then 20 minutes with a dude who was a throwaway gag last season. They strapped an annoying neighbor to a rocket and he went away. And then 20 minutes with annoying neighbor sucked. Mike McMahon seems to like doing these weird backdoor pilots of side characters with no real impact to the main cast. And I hope he got it out of the system and it's not going to become a trend. Do you agree that this is like a Mike McMahon thing?
I don't know. That was a weird episode, and I feel like that's gonna go to somewhere else because of the people they introduced in that episode. I don't know. I haven't seen it really, like even the Rick and Morty episodes, because the whole season is absurd. You expect something like that. Solar Opposites is a more like linear story, right? Hawk, like it's not episodic. It's episodic, but in the sense that each episode also deals with a sort of larger story. I don't know. I don't think that's a trope that he's done.
I don't know. I think Jesco's got a point here in that, you know, especially with Solar Opposites and that, because like we see him do this every season in Solar Opposites, you know, literally with the, you know, the whole story of the Wall People.
But the Wall People was was brought in really early in one, and then it was continually used, right? The one she's mentioning, it was just that one episode, and nothing really was, it never came back in Solar Opposites.
Right.
And God, if that happens here and we don't see, God, I don't really want to see Peanut Hamper again, but if the what happens here doesn't have consequences in the future.
We're definitely gonna see her again.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But will this episode have a bigger meaning to it all? Like, I don't know. That just seems weird.
And MC says in the chat, I tell you, if this is a backdoor pilot for a buddy villain Peanut Hamper Agnes series, it'll be the first Trek I pass on, even with Jeffrey Combs. Yeah, I don't know.
No, they can't. They won't milk it for an entire series, but they probably could milk it out, for a particularly good finale in that.
And that's the last point I want to talk about tonight. Is at the very end of this episode, maybe a redeeming quality of the episode, maybe not, depending how you look at it. Definitely sets up Peanut Hamper as a villain for whatever more we see her was who's going to kind of try to take over the world for $1 billion with fellow sentient robot Agnes.
She's the redeeming. She's gonna have the redemption in that finale. We're gonna think she's bad.
I have a theory for Hawk. It's not bunnies, but she's gonna be the villain in Picard season 3. They said it was a woman. And it's Peanut Hamper.
I think that would be, even for Hawk, he liked this episode, this would be Hawk's final straw with Picard.
No.
Why not? It's the same time. Like, it could work.
No. I just...
Peanut Hamper.
The only way I could see this working as her being like a sort of villain in the finale is we saw her be continually bad this episode, and then her have that redemption in the finale. That's the only reason why I could see them having this episode. They're not going to do it because they're
not going to do it
because they're going to be like, "Hey, we're clever. She's still evil." No. But I don't know.
I think I'm cool with a one-off. Like, if they had done literally anybody else without using that used retired trope of the primitive culture bullshit. Like, they could have done something on Tandy's cousin who's a swordsmith or whatever. I'd watch the shit about this.
They should have done that archaeologist lady that we saw like a couple episodes ago.
That archaeologist lady.
I don't remember.
Well, I think we're going to see her in the finale, I bet you.
Yeah.
The guys who are like selling the lore bathroom bubble thing, I'd watch an episode about them. Like, for real. I'd watch a lot of things, but my main problem is not because it was a one-off. It's not. It could have been a Peanut Hamper, and I would have liked it. My problem is using like these old, retired IDs that go nowhere. So, and not doing it in a satire or a parody, or no criticism of it.
Good, Hawk.
I killed it.
I think good.
The last thing I want to say, if you remember, I brought it up at the top of the show. Peanut Hamper joined Starfleet to stick it to her parents. Peanut Hamper has parents, and this is another reason I hate the end of this episode. Did Peanut Hamper fuck up and was she absolutely awful? 100%. But then they fucking basically kidnap her and take her to Daystrom and lock her in a box with other sentient computers. Like, she's got parents somewhere. Maybe some of these other ones do, but like, were the parents notified? Like, why not send her home and just disbar her from Starfleet and like send her to her parents? Like, listen,
she did some pretty bad.
I
get trying to contact the Borg at the
but
end.
Sticking her in cold storage, like, is there a trial? Is there a tribunal? Is there a court martial? I know this is an animated show and I may be looking at this too hard, but this is something that I thought a lot about and really didn't like either. Like, it didn't work for me. I don't know if it was genocide. Maybe some birds died.
Some birds definitely
died. But like, where's the court martial? Like, where are her parents? Like, I don't know.
Flux killed more people and he never was court-martialed. So
I don't like having a line like that in season 1 where she's like, "Oh yeah, I've got parents," and then like you don't think about these things when you do.
Maybe it's just a lie.
It could have been a lie. That's also very true.
In this episode, that she joined Starfleet to piss off her dad.
Oh, she says that in this episode too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I don't like.
You have a point, because I mean, like, you remember, like, with what happened, like, for the exocomps to actually get their recognition of their rights and freedoms and that, and the fact that at the end she was just kind of thrown in like every other.
They could have had a trial. We just didn't see it. Too.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the ending. I did like the Agamus though, and them like doing the evil conniving, like this is gonna be a thing. Maybe another Peanut Hamper episode will work. This one didn't.
Before we have a baby. A baby
maybe
robot.
They have oh my god, the baby bird robot. Oh my
baby.
god. That would get me interested.
Like Birdman in Rick and Morty. Yeah.
Let's get into an Easter egg hunt here. There's not a lot this week. I'll let you guys go first. Anybody have anything?
Oh,
I didn't even look for them
I
because it
didn't
was
think
like,
about
what
it.
am I watching? What is this? Like, we're just trying like to understand what was going on.
I think it just
there was,
represents
like,
like
a
a shit ton of
lot.
other pop culture. Like,
I think there was some in like the junkyard. I
Yeah.
think there were like pieces of like
And in the
famous,
warp
like,
flight,
ships
too.
and so, yeah.
yeah.
I do think that the episode was probably based a lot on the Paradise Syndrome of TOS. That really old episode. Do you remember it?
No, but I'm not. I mean, I know which episode we're talking about, and I'm like, and I went like, because like that's such a problematic episode too,
Big
and
time.
but I was in the 60s and it was already kind of like,
Everything was just bad.
Yeah.
There is a BSG Easter egg when she says
Ooh,
frack.
What?
Oh, she
yeah.
does say frack?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
When? Because all I heard was bleeped out F word.
No, it was later in the episode. There was the fuck, and then there was a frack later.
No. The ones that I got, the one of the robots that was talking at the end of the episode was named like 1011001, which may have
the year
been a reference to
2000?
the TNG episode.
Oh,
Maybe, I don't know. It definitely references the Borg. Definitely Star Trek Insurrection. Definitely Moana. Definitely Avatar. That's all I got. It's not an Easter egg laden episode.
No.
We
I
see
think the snake. Isn't it the sky snake something from TAS? Like kind of.
maybe.
You have like kind of
I
like
don't know enough about
TAS person.
Yes.
aren't you the
Yeah.
TAS? Yeah.
They're not exactly the same, but I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's very TAS, like kind of like evil stuff that you would see. But yeah.
Let's rate this one out of 10 pieces of replicated candy. Chat, let us know as well. Eric, we will start with you.
I gave it a
Good
6
luck.
because I didn't hate it, but I was just weirded out the whole time. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hawk.
It didn't go into the hate side.
I would go a 7.5 with this one. I might have gone a bit higher, but Giraffe and everybody has really good points about this. Why this was a bad episode to begin with. And I did enjoy like Peanut Hamper's performance in it. So 7.5 for me.
Graph.
I think I'm gonna go 5.5. It's not a bad episode. Again, it's not a terrible episode. I just don't understand why the hell we did that here now at that moment.
This late in the
And
season.
It's late in the season,
late in the
and
season.
yeah, and I'm being nice because I was like, when I watched it, I was like, I'm gonna give it a 3.
Oh, don't
And-
worry.
The thing is that it's always the problem. Like, the animation is great, the music is good, the voice actors are doing a great job. Like, it's just that the writing is off,
Yeah.
and the tropes are old. But it's not a bad episode of TV.
Right.
It's not bad track. We had bad track happened.
There's no green ghost in it.
No green ghost. Over on YouTube, I almost called it Twitch again. Over on YouTube, we have a 5 out of 10 for Maggie Light. Jessica gives it a 2 out of 10 Evil Computers. MC gives it a 1 out of 10. Haven gives it a 2 out of 10, but that may be too high. I'm gonna go.
So we're all being very nice.
I'm gonna go with
We're
Giraffe
being
and
very
I's
nice.
earlier conversation, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
With the preface of that being that this is 26 out of 27, right? One miss out of 27 episodes. Like, I think that's a pretty fucking stellar record. That's
Great batting average.
postseason baseball right there.
And it's a miss because we didn't like it. It's not a miss as like
It's not a-
the making of the show. You know what I mean?
No, it's still beautiful. Like you said, it's still beautiful. It's gorgeous to look at. There are some funny moments. The music's fantastic. The set pieces, the battle, which we barely talked about, was like
Yeah,
almost,
the battle was
almost like
pretty epic.
almost cinematic and too good for lower
Yeah.
decks. But it didn't do anything for me. 3 out of 10. Kang also gives it a 5 out of 10 with 1 star for Agamis returning. Let's
Some people are like, it's a bad track. I was like,
Yeah.
Hey, I think I when I watched it, I told Julian it's the first time that I cannot watch an episode until the end.
Right.
Like for Discovery, Prodigy, Picard, I've all watched the episode in one sitting.
Didn't you almost quit
even
an
if-
episode of Strange New Worlds? I feel like you did.
No.
No?
I don't think so. I mean, I hated
Spock and Mock. Yeah.
I hated it.
And we-
Like the opening scene, I was like, "Fuck
Right.
you!" But I still watch it. I watched some episode of Picard once as a screener and never rewatched them. But I still sat and watched it and took notes. Like this one, after like maybe 10 minutes, I was like, "And pause," and I'm gonna go into something else because I don't know what I'm watching. Yeah.
Kang gives it a 5. Did I already say 10? Yeah, sorry. Wayner gives it a 6. I thought there were a lot of funny parts. Hey, all legitimate answers. Definitely a divisive episode of Lower Decks, which we don't say often. Let's get into the subspace to poll and mailbag.
Hailing frequencies are open.
And we asked Trek Twitter what they thought of episode 307, and this is what they had to say. Who wants it this week? Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Hit it.
thank you. We asked Trek Twitter what they thought of episode 307, and this is what they had to say. 45% said the bird is the word. I said that wrong, but whatever.
You did.
6%.
You did. I'm not even. It's the
I don't
bird
know
is
the
the word. The
reference.
bird's the word.
Word in the word. Okay, I'm gonna do that again. 45% said the bird is the word.
Thank
Better?
you. That's much better.
6% said had me singing. 6% said hamper down.
Yeah.
43% said the bird is not the word.
Bird
This
is
is
the
not
word.
my bird. This is not my bird.
Again,
All right.
divisive poll. I like it.
I think it's the lowest one we
It
ever
is.
had, no?
Lowest
It
one
is.
we've ever had. Yep, for sure. Yep. Let's keep going. So draft, we'll go back to
Me.
Eric with mailbag. Shatterhand.
Shatterhand
please.
wrote, "This is the first Lower Decks episode that actually pissed me off."
Way to emphasize that. This.
I did what I did. I'm pretty sure I get what they were going for. A redemption story turned on its head with the lesson that some people can't change no matter what happens to them. Well, that probably looked good on paper in the writer's room. For me, in execution, it was a big old oof. They skipped to the main well. Wait, they skipped to the same well as the last time we saw Peanut Hamper because Lowell's got you again. Many may find that clever. I found it cheap and lazy. If I had to score this, it'd be a 2 out of 10.
I just want to say for the
Damn.
record that Shatterhand's mailbag at one point was 3 paragraphs, and I made him pare it down.
I want to see the original one.
I know. Go ahead, Hawk, with MCs, please.
MC wrote, I was mildly amused by the Avatar parody aspect, especially when I knew the second we saw the jacked bird, I said to myself, Peanut Hamper is going to screw that hot owl.
That's so hard to say. Screw the hot owl. Screw the hot owl.
How?
Screw
How?
the hot owl. But
Yeah.
other than that, I find Peanut Hamper to be a thoroughly unpleasant character, and they didn't make any effort to remedy that, which I know was the point, but was not an enjoyable watch. This is the first ever episode of Lower Decks I don't think I'll be rewatching.
Yeah. Murder in the house.
Go ahead with Haven's giraffe.
Heaven wrote, a few weeks ago, I said that I really felt like Lower Decks was not hitting its marks. The fact that the main character of this episode was someone I had completely forgotten about didn't help. But you could honestly say that this episode could easily be removed from the series and nothing would change. Threshold or Tuvix are better episodes than this. I'd rank this
I'd
a
actually agree
solid
with
2, and that might be too high. Listen, I agree. When people were like, "Oh, Spock's Brain is a bad episode," I was like, "Oh, get the fuck out of here! Spock's Brain is a way better episode than this."
I think Tuvix is a worse episode than this, but not Threshold. I'd watch Threshold. If someone said, let's watch Threshold right now, I'd be like, yeah, shit, let's go.
I love
Threshold.
Threshold. They got Emmys. Come on.
I got Emmys. I'll take Matt DM82's mathematically perfect redemption will live in Star Trek infamy alongside other names that are both well known and cringe-inducing to most Star Trek fans. Among my least favorite episodes from all Star Trek series I've seen, akin to giving the Red Alert Klaxon its own show.
I'd watch that.
1 out of 10.
Damn.
Just
Back
go.
to you, Eric.
Just go.
Close
Rogue.
us out.
Mailbag. I don't know why that's first. I don't think that was
Mailbag.
That was certainly an episode of a show. I'm not sure it was Lower Decks, though. The character beats were forced, the plot predictable, and the jokes mostly a miss for me. I think this was the kind of story that could have made for a funny cold open that then led into literally anything else that involved our Cerritos crew. Overall, it was dull and uncomfortable to watch, and I do not see myself revisiting it anytime soon. Just a waste of a Jeffrey Combs cameo. Hopefully he'll be back and not attached to Peanut.
See, uncomfortable is the word.
Uncomfortable is a good word. Yep.
Yeah,
Caw.
it was uncomfortable.
You're just going to keep going, aren't you? That was a
Yeah,
good
bird
line. I did
jokes.
like it.
Anybody got any bird
jokes?
jokes they want to dump
Bird.
before the?
No, I'm going to flip this bird and take us out. I could do transitions sometimes. That's going to do it for this week's episode, guys. It has been a pleasure. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will just give you this little peanut that next
Hamper?
week's goes.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
It's, yes.
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 Yes. So, before we go, I will say join us in about a little under 45 minutes for day 6 of Scare Trek, 31 days of spooky Trek episodes on the Strange New Pod Discord server, being hosted by Giraffe and MC. Tonight's episode is Voyager's Coda, which is
Yes.
fucking A. You scared the fuck out of me. Oh my god, we better go before this turns into just a complete. I was gonna try and make a bird joke and I got nothing. For Hawk,
clusterfuck.
there it is, Hawk. There you go, a clusterfuck.
Please get me out of here.
Oh my god, transporter room 4 to be about. For Hawk, for Eric, I am Julian. I say live long and prosper. Majram, good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.